Hey screen printers, this is Drew with Anatol. We're here again today to tell you about our wonderful Aries 2 system and some of its newer features. In our new Aries 2 system, we have a maintenance button down in the right hand corner. If we click on this, it brings up our maintenance list window. This tells us what we need to be doing regularly. When these counters reach 0, you'll get a notification in the middle of your screen telling you to check this window and maybe what specifically to check on your press. It'll also say something at the bottom that if you don't do this regularly, you may damage your machine. Once you've checked these, you can click on them to reset the features back to the beginning of the counters. Once one hits, you can recheck them all and reset them all at once, or you can check them as they come up one at a time. So these first three here have to go with our indexer. These are to clean and grease both the bearings and the forks that they go into on your indexer. This here is for the oil level of your indexer. This can be checked on the right hand side in a sight glass. We want to make sure that that sight glass is half full or fuller, but we don't want to go any higher than a sight glass. Next is our lift up. This mainly is for one of our older machines with the dipstick, which had a screw lift. Our newer machines do not have a dipstick to check, but we just want to check and make sure that there's no oil leaking out of them. They do have an internal oil chamber, and if they are leaking, this could become a problem. We also recommend putting grease on your wheel to help the longevity of that wheel and make it run smoother over time. These last two have to do with our printhead. The first one here has to do with our carriage. This is telling us to check all the rails that it runs upon and make sure that they're clean, free of dust, and well lubricated. The second one here has to do with our belt tension. Every so often, our belt tension becomes loose over time as they're worn out and needs to be tightened. This is only common to be checked upon our electric presses. On the right side of your indexer, you have a sight glass. This should be checked when the indexer is in the locked position. This sight glass should read halfway or higher. If you fill above this sight glass, you risk overfilling and flowing onto the floor. This is our new electric lift. This is a gearbox which has oil inside of it but should be maintenance-less. As long as you don't notice any leaking oil, it should be good to go. We do, however, like to add grease onto these wheels from time to time to help the longevity of them so you can get more prints out of your machine. Also want to make sure that these bearings are clean and greased regularly, and by finding the sticker on our center column, we can find our grease fitting points. We have one at the top and one at the bottom. On our electric presses, our lock and unlock is driven by this screw here. This screw should be kept clean and greased as well. When we talk about greasing the indexer, we're talking about this general area. We want to make sure that this top surface stays nice and clean, and this area stays clean, and we apply new grease to it. Every so often we also want to apply grease to these bearings, and it'll naturally spread to this whole area for us. This rail up here is on every machine we make. This rail should be kept clean and lubricated every so often. Additionally, all of our electric machines also have this rail. Same thing. This rail should be kept clean and lubricated regularly. Our electric printheads also have a belt on them. Sometimes this belt needs to be retensioned. The adjuster for this belt tension is right in this hole. Alright guys, thanks for checking out this video today. Hopefully it gave you all the information you need about keeping up with your machine. And if you have any further questions, feel free to contact myself or someone else in our service department. If you need contact information, feel free to look us up online.